everybody. This is it. This is it, folks. The final episode of the year of this show that I like to call. I'm going to jump right to the title card. Let's all go to the trailers. My name is Brandon Jones. I'm the editor-in-chief of GameTrailers.com. I'm joined by Mr. Kyle Bossman.
Hi, everybody.
And Elise Willems.
Hey, guys.
Filling in for Daniel Bloodworth, who skipped all of the last episodes of 2014 of shows. He was not on GT time. He's sitting out. He actually just began his vacation early. We all want to be Daniel Bloodworth at this point, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But we are still here. Thank you, Elise, for filling in.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad that I could fill in for that slacker Bloodworth.
Yeah, he's just really a huge disappointment from all angles. This is it. This is the final episode of Let's All Go to the Trailers we're going to be doing for this year. We're actually going to have a year-in-review episode that we're going to do when we have the time in January to look back fondly on our 30 favorite trailers from 2014. But there's just so much stuff to do that there's no time to do it before we all wrap up before vacation. But I'm glad that I could gather you one last time to talk about some silly trailers that came out this week and kick it off before we head off for the break. So here we go. Our first trailer is for Dragon Age Inquisition, a game I'm looking forward to play sometime in 2015. So yeah, this is an interesting, it's one thing to quote us, to quote journalists, you know, for your trailers, and we do get emails every now and then where we're like, hey, we noticed you said something nice in a Just Played, or in your review, or in a tweet, and we'd like to include that. But this is interesting because it's brought in such a simple way, and they're actually like really big pieces of information. Like, it does take a long time to actually read these. Mm-hmm. One, you know, how did you like their implementation? Two, should this trailer be made? Is this kind of weird for EA to come out and make a trailer like this? And finally, do you think this incentivizes fans to tweet more, to comment more on social media? Because it's like, hey, you never know, I could wind up in a trailer. And I know we've talked about this before because there have been other trailers like this, but specifically this is such a huge franchise that I was surprised to see the very simple text. And specifically pointing out different conversations, specifically pointing out, I thought, different notes, different things to critique or to bring up, specifically about romance and stuff like that, to kind of pointing out fan favorite things that they like, not only in Dragon Age, but in other BioWare games.
I feel like it's a little unprofessional. The tweets aren't well written, and so it's basically just like, here's all these people who are like gushing over our game. It doesn't seem suitable for like that to be the trailer. You know, they're not even like...
People are willingly telling us how much they love this game. You know, these aren't press quotes. These aren't people that had to review this game. These are people that came to us and said, we love Dragon Age.
There's a lot of those people for lots of games.
For every game, I would imagine.
This game in particular,
you can make this trailer for any game.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. Like,
so,
yeah, good. Thank you for that tweet.
Is it too self-congratulatory then? Is that what this is that bothers you, or you think it's just unprofessional?
It's the tone. So the music right now that we're listening to is very serious, and so are the slow motion scenes we're seeing from the game. And then to just see like kind of like, seriously guys, period. Why do you like...
And at one point there's like the jokey romance one where it's like Dragon Age Inquisition, more like Dragon Age Indecision.
Right, yeah. So like, it's like not setting the right tone for a game that doesn't need it. You won Game of the Year. Talk about that. You know, you don't need these. Too many feels. Stop it. Dragon Age 2 burned a lot of people. And I think they're trying to show, hey, look, fans, we did right this time. Look at what other fans are saying. When you don't need to, you don't have to do that.
I do like that they didn't just grab a bunch of B-roll and throw it in there. Like, the things they're talking about are actually represented in the quotes they're picking. Like, one I like that my moral decisions are the thing that keep me up at night, and then the character wakes up, you know. Mm-hmm. And so I think they definitely had fun putting this together, which is why, you know, I think the trailer does have a little bit of charm. Obviously, you know, there's not like weird CG stuff thrown in there. All of this stuff is obviously in-engine. I guess the big question is like, is this a trend? I mean, with social media, is this something that we can expect? Is this like classic EA? Like, only EA would make trailers like this? Or do you see other big publishers creating trailers like this, and do you think that's bad? Do you think there's a better way to do this trailer, or they just shouldn't do this trailer at all?
That's a really good question, because I think we'll definitely see more. This is not the last we've seen of tweets and trailers. I just think you have to make it match your tone. If your game is a sort of serious tone, you have to make sure at least the tweets match it, but maybe you just deliver it in a different way. You know, find maybe different music or represent them in a different way.
I give it a 7.7. Gathering all this footage is tricky, you know, like actually like putting that stuff together. And if you're this fan, I mean, imagine if you're actually one of those people. And their names are on there. It's not like you pick like a word from a review, and so you're like, well, I got to go read that entire review for that one time they said stunning. You know, it's like it was a paragraph. It was the tweet in its entirety. So now I can go search that guy and find that tweet, so I can call them out if they're lying. Like, these things were obviously said. Granted, I'm sure there's equal, if not potentially more, bad tweets that are sent to not only Dragon Age Inquisition, but really any game that comes out. But I kind of expect that at the same time. Again, it's something, it's like, wouldn't you be boastful? Is that bad if they're like, hey, people like our game, we're excited about that? It's like, no, don't do that. It's an interesting argument. I actually didn't think about a score at all until we sat down. I was like, wow, I didn't score this. And like, that might be a little high, but like, the conversation that I wanted to start is not necessarily about like, do we think this trailer is good or bad, but like, what do we think about it? Twitter trailers? What do you think about that?
So I'll give it a 4.1. Imagine
it's harsh, man.
Imagine a Sonic Boom trailer where there are legitimate people who think that is the best Sonic game ever made. And so we just see tweets from the Sonic fans who say, this is the best Sonic game ever made. It comes off very fanny, and you know, it's okay to use their language, but make sure you're picking the right tone.
So I'm going to find all these people on Twitter, and then a year from now, tweet at them and ask them if they're still playing Dragon Age Inquisition, and see how they're doing, like a 20 or 7-up situation. I kind of disagree with you guys. I sort of think this is a very, very smart move, and making a trailer like this that pays tribute to fan service, encouraging people to engage in social media is really, really smart.
That's why it's rare that we have you on the show, because your opinions are so radical and incorrect.
Yeah, I know. Like, I think we are inside the industry. We're pretty jaded, though. And also I noticed they did a pretty decent job balancing the male to female ratio in those tweets.
Presumably, like Pug, who knows?
Well,
Mermaid
Pug, yes, but I did notice there were a lot of like Christines and like just very blatantly like these are women playing Dragon Age Inquisition. So I think it's a deliberate attempt to be like, look at all these people. All, genders, walks of life playing Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm probably wrong. This is probably a terrible trailer. I'll give it a 6.
Whoa. You just said we're wrong, and then you gave it a 6.
No, I didn't. I just said that I kind of disagree, and I think maybe you guys are being too harsh with the 4.
Because again, two different questions. Is this a good trailer? And did I score it way too high? Probably. Or is this a good idea for other companies to do?
I think
I'm curious what the tweets are for Bayonetta 2. I'm curious what those wacky tweets are. I bet that
great.
trailer would actually be kind of fun.
Yeah.
If you're like a teenager and you're watching this commercial, you're like, wow, this is maybe a good way to get them into Dragon Age. It's a smart move. But.
And again, if you're one of those people, mind lost. Like, I wonder if they got an email ahead of time, just like, hey, FYI, we're using your tweet, or if they have some disclaimer somewhere that's like, any tweet sent to EA will be used in all media moving forward.
I'd be like, oh, I'm a sellout. I did it. I'm words in a commercial now is what I would think.
Like Ian got his quote from his like Suikoden. I'm not sure what it was he wrote or said, but it got into like their little promotional material, and he lost his mind. He was, He
is a professional journalist.
Yeah, and that's Ian. You're right. Yeah, no one's safe from it.
Ian's so jaded and cynical, and he was losing his, so...
So, let's all be sellouts in 2015. Yeah. It's a goal, everybody.
I know you've been complaining, but you weren't ready.
When there cometh a Batman or a Grand Theft Auto trailer, it must be shown on Let's Go. People are waiting for this one. The guy he's talking to even has my hairstyle in the game. It's like, oh, it's me, he's talking to me.
Was that modeled specifically after you?
Yeah, another Rockstar trailer for more content. There's actually been a lot of Rockstar trailers for Grand Theft Auto Online that we haven't focused on that I've kind of mentioned at the end of part 2. So just like, oh, this other thing. I remember the Top Gun-esque trailer for the flight thing was funny that we mentioned just kind of in passing. This was a big deal. I mean, this was something that people have been waiting for a really long time. It might feel like Rockstar slipped it in at the end of the year. Like, well, technically we made the announcement in 2014. No idea when we're getting this. Still haven't announced an actual date. Again, just want to point out how much stuff is happening in this trailer. Like, there's tons of different heists, tons of different vehicles, tons of different outfits that they're wearing, and you're constantly guessing, like, how much of that am I controlling? How are they split up? I like that he's really cocky at the beginning. I like that he's like, this is going to be difficult. You think you know how this is going to run, but you don't. Yeah. And there's obviously more to read, but just the vibe of the trailer, I'm curious what you guys think.
I mean, after Rockstar just kind of said that they admittedly had to go back and sort of rework their whole conception of heists because they were trying to make it too inclusive to all party members and that maybe wasn't going to work. Like, they wanted everyone to feel involved, even if you were just the getaway driver and you weren't really doing much. But then that really wasn't possible. It makes me wonder, like, what heists will actually be like, if they will resemble more just like your standard multiplayer, like, interaction. I don't really know. I think it's a great trailer, but Rockstar always makes great trailers, so.
Yeah, it's kind of boring at this point.
Yeah.
For me, it's a rare miss from a Rockstar commercial. You have to show us what's different, and I don't see a lot of that. I see a lot of jets and planes, things that when we were envisioning these heists that were promised forever ago, these aren't the things we were looking forward to. Just like, oh man, I can't wait to get in the jet. It's, oh man, I can't wait to rob a bank with my buddies. And the trailer doesn't show enough of that. It kind of escalates in the wrong directions, I think.
You're robbing jets.
Yeah.
On an aircraft carrier, which aircraft carriers were not in Grand Theft Auto 5. So that location is new, and robbing a jet itself.
That's not what I want to do.
crazy.
No, I want to rob banks.
Yeah, like,
There's banks.
You
saw
went off
guys
the
going
rails.
into banks with the drills and all that stuff.
I think they went off the rails
They
too
started
fast.
with that. Like, they were like, okay, let's start with banks, and then let's move on. You're impersonating cops, and you have to, like, go into a police station
Love that.
disguised as a police officer.
That is
in
1
order to
second of this trailer.
yeah,
though.
they're not really. Right now, it's a lot of like jets and then planning stuff with your buddies at a whiteboard. Like, that's what online heists looks like to me.
But you brought up a good point. You're like, oh yeah, but that's in there just for like a second. Did you need more of it? Should
Absolutely.
this trailer be twice as long, or do you think it's a fun tease that you just see a second of it? And so you're wondering, so you leave it up to sites like us or IGN to like make videos where we break everything down and be like, okay, so we saw this one thing for 2 seconds of them on the motorcycle. What's happening there? Are they stealing the motorcycle? Are they all players? Who's this one NPC? Speaking of NPCs, having the talking characters was totally not expecting that.
Yeah.
I didn't think this would be related to the story at all.
Right.
Which again is something that they're like, it is a little bit more involved. We did have to bring these voice actors back and write all this dialogue. It does fit into the story, which conceivably, if Grand Theft Auto Online is still keeping with the timeline, all happens before Grand Theft Auto 5. So these are heists that happened in Los Santos before the story began.
Look at you with your timeline knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, they said, you know, when you meet like Lamar, you meet the guys in Grand Theft Auto Online, like it's before like Michael's not there. And
That's funny. I think it's good they make it clear. It's pretty clear who are made characters, you know, because they wear goofy clothes. But, you know, that's good. That says, hey, here's you. Here's where you'll be playing this game. My ideal vision of this trailer is, like, just focusing on one of the heists. Like a movie.
Yeah.
Like basically how a heist movie trailer would work. I think is a better way to do this. Don't show us the helicopters shooting rockets at cars, basically.
Or just, like, show an actual gameplay of what a heist will look like.
I mean, they had the online trailer with the
Yeah.
female narrator who's like, okay, this is Grand Theft Auto Online. And actually brought us through that after we had the initial online tease. So maybe that'll be the next trailer, is actually like going through one of them, explaining how it works. Or in classic Rockstar fashion, they could just one day, boop, there you go, Christmas Day, enjoy
drop it.
heists. And like, we're all scrambling around. I'm going to give this an 8.4, and I just want to point out why I like it so much.
Sure.
There are a couple of anything you see in this that's cinema-wise, anything you hear voiceover and then see a shot of that character actually talking, that is a cinema of the game that they took out. That the only difference is what the guys that are actually wearing in that scene. Every other shot that you're seeing was played and captured from a very particular perspective. Kind of like when we talk about Battlefield or Call of Duty expansions, you know, when they do that, it's one thing to just kind of like, okay, a bunch of guys played stuff, we direct captured their gameplay, then we cut something out of it. All of those guys were stealing those jets off of that. What's the best place I can put this camera to get him jumping in the jet? And it's not just like one continuous shot, it's like 5 shots. Like the camera's just constantly moving around and getting different perspectives of things. And that takes a ton of pre-planning and storyboarding and with what track are we going to use, how well does this all build with the music. But not the best GTA Online trailer, I'll give you that, Mr. Bossman.
And I will give it a 5. And this is straight in the middle because it is still, you know, edited well. It's still, they kind of threw everything that they have at this trailer, and I think they could have accomplished a lot more with a lot less.
It's 7. I was pretty apologetic for Dragon Age with my jadedness, but I'm pretty jaded when it comes to Rockstar. They make good trailers. Like, I feel like we know that. Do something different, Rockstar, with your trailers.
So 7 with the Rockstar balance. Now,
Yeah.
not as far as general trailers are concerned, but just Rockstar.
Yeah.
Like when the R word comes in, the scale totally is askew.
It's in its own realm.
That's fair. This is one of the worst trailers
Oh my god.
that I've seen this entire year. And normally I'll save trailers like this for the end when it's like, oh, and you should probably check out these trailers. And like, I'm not gonna really get in depth for like a bad trailer, but like, this trailer fascinated me. This trailer kind of reminded me of like a celebrity just losing their mind on Twitter, and you're like, whoa, buddy, calm down. Whoa, what are you doing? You know, like Phil Fish just losing his mind and just yelling at everybody, and like.
There's like 30 seconds of text.
Well, there's like the text. Okay, so first of all, there's text, and he picked this like there's like weird transitions between the text where he's trying to make it as like hard as possible to read. All of the words are like very like, crammed close together. Picked a font that's like maybe not the best as far as being legible is concerned. Somehow decided to like have text tell the story, a very personal story about game development as opposed to like him. Like he couldn't like get on a mic and be like, "Hi, I'm the guy who made this game."
It switches between we and I too, which is really funny. Starts with we, switches to I, ends with we again. What is this, by the way? You won a little we contest? Like,
I think is that a Doctor Who thing? Is that like the telephone
I don't
on the
know.
front of the TARDIS? Maybe?
Weird to put that. That's like the first thing you show off after jumping up really high.
I feel horrible making fun of this trailer though.
Why? He's so defensive.
Because
this person has it coming, or she.
I don't know if English is this person's first language. There's a moment in the early text where they use the word rather really weird, and it made me think that maybe it isn't. But though I know we've said before, like, get somebody who does have like a concept to check your work. But I don't know. I just feel like this person, they really want people to like this game.
I don't think it's they really want people to like this game. I think this trailer directly attacks people that don't like this game.
Yeah.
It's like if you had played this game and you have anything negative to talk about it, I want to fight you
Come
right
at
now.
me.
Literally, like meet me after work in the alleyway. I'll kick the crap out of you. I've never watched a trailer that aggressively attacked me via text. It's like, this is a feeling I'm unused to. He talks about all the multiplayer and does not get one solitary person to join him.
Yeah.
In his own game.
Yep.
Yeah. Are those like assets from like Super Mario Kart? Like what are those carts from? Is that
I don't know. This
I don't know.
gun.
It's
that's
like a first-person shooter now.
And it's really weird. There's like 3 hands touching this gun. It's the strangest hand model. But yeah, I believe these are assets from a different game that were purchased, to put into this one.
Make a trailer like this if you know people are familiar with your game. If your game's launched and been out for a long time, then like maybe you can make a trailer like, okay, the game's been out, we've been on Steam Early Access, or like we have a big community and they've suggested all these things. Their perception of their audience, their perception of their game seems to vary like with each shot. I mean, like there's so many different incongruous statements that they're making, and I think there's nothing wrong. I mean, I want a playful trailer for this. I want them being like, hey, he's like, hey, I didn't make a Minecraft clone, and it's like, that's okay. You can make a Minecraft clone if you want. Like, if you really like Minecraft and you want to make a game that looks like that and plays like that, like, go for it. And then make a game. Like, I've seen trailers for games that are like, hey, Minecraft? We made Minecraft, but we put machine guns in it. And I'm like, cool. I respect you for just coming out and saying what it was. But to, like, make such a huge deal about adding, like, a cart to Minecraft and, like, have this, like, look way worse than Minecraft does, and have him like not be able to get any players in for like multiplayer, and then his like paint win thing. I can't tell. I'm assuming all of this is taken dead serious. Like I don't think any of this is tongue in cheek. Like I'm assuming all this is like extremely serious.
He doesn't make the game look fun at all. We're shown like 3 different mechanics, like just being in the world, the weird first person thing, and then the cart thing. We don't even see him battle the boss there, really, or whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
We never see the wizard guy really do anything. He sits on the cart, but we never see him like cast a spell or like.
Crafting is loads of fun.
But we don't see it.
There's nothing wrong with advertising a game that's not the most amazing game ever. Like that's totally fine. You can say like, I just made this little tiny game, and I'm gonna make a trailer for that. And this just seems like really cocky, really aggressive, writing checks that can't cash. One.
Nice.
I just feel like this person maybe has so many people tell them like, you can't make a game, you don't know how to make a game, and maybe that's why they're lashing out. I have too much empathy for this world though, so I'm sorry, whoever you are.
Nexus.
Nexus games.
I'm gonna give it a 1 too.
Oh.
So here's the thing, Nexus. We don't hate you because you're new and you're an underdog. Let's just explain some things. Lessons we can learn from this. Always show. If you can show, do that instead of telling. You do too much telling in this. Watch how you refer to yourself. Sometimes you're we, sometimes you're I. Don't do that. Make sure your game looks better before showing it off. And lastly, it's not a big deal that you won that Miiverse contest.
Yeah, it's a 1.
Hey, we all have the same score.
That's worst trailer of the year. That wins then.
You know what happens when that happens, when we all get the same thing? Nothing. We just move on to the next
Okay.
trailer. Maybe in 2015 we can change that, and they'll have some like balloons will be released or some fireworks will go off or something.
Or like we have to like send a personal email to that studio.
But collectively, I think that is the lowest combined score of
Yeah.
any trailer. Which is, again, why I don't like decide to talk about bad trailers, but there's just so many things. I could write a book on all of the bad things about this trailer, but we only have so much time, so we're going to move on. That is it for the trailers this week. There is going to be a part 2 to this episode. If you are unfamiliar with Let's All Go to the Trailers Part 2, we're going to watch Stranded Deep, the debut teaser, for the first time, because I'm assuming neither of you have seen this. I haven't seen it. Stranded Deep sound good. Not just stranded, not deep, but Stranded Deep. We're also going to talk about 4 trailers that I thought were super cool this week, and we're going to pick our trailer of the week. Don't you want to know what that is? Of course you do, which is why you'll join us for part 2. And if not, happy holidays, and I will see you in 2015.